Hey guys, welcome back to Market Stalkers. A little bit of a different video today. Someone messaged James and asked whether James is our CTO of Blahtech, and they asked whether we could speak about average daily range. Of course I can. So I'm going to be going over what the average daily range is, how you can possibly use it in your trading, regardless of which strategy you're trading, whether it's market stalkers or something to do with supply and demand or market profile or any other strategy that you may be using. Having something like an average daily range in your entry or even exit arsenal of techniques can help greatly. Especially if you're looking to time your trades better intraday, or you're solely an intraday trader, like for example you're trading futures or something. So Blahtech Daily Range is an indicator that gives you all of this information at a glance. I used to do this manually before Blahtech, before everything. I used to have a spreadsheet where I would have to input certain values, open and close, and highs and lows of the day. So it was a laborious process and it took me a couple of hours to do. And then I also wanted something that no indicator had at the time, which was the average session range. So I would have to manually have a look at the session start, session end, and then try and come up with those kind of values myself. And again, it was, I had a nice little spreadsheet, but at the end of the day, it took so much time. It was just one of the strategies that I would have to, and you would have to do it every single day. It's because, if you're going to trade into a session, every day that goes by, it's a new piece of information. So you would have to go back to that. Like, it was just a nightmare. And so average daily range, how do you use it? You take a certain number of days, like 20 trading days, and then you calculate the median value for that period. Like Blahtech takes 20 days, but it has a weighted average towards the last 5 days of trading so that you can change your strategies accordingly. And so that it's more sensitive to any potential changes in the market movement. So you can use the average daily range twofold. You can use it as an entry after the average daily range has been exhausted for the day, and that times your trades better if you're going to go with maybe the larger trend, but intraday it went the other way. It effectively gives you a nice area to buy the dips or sell the rallies, helping you time your trades better. Another day that you can use it is for your targets. So let's say you caught a really nice run and you're thinking, well, how long should I keep this going? ADR, or average daily range, shows you the extremes, so the safe thing to do would be to take off your trades before the average daily range is exhausted. So there's just a couple of ideas of how you can use it. Blahtech daily range also goes one step further. It has session ranges as well. So if you're looking to trade intraday something like crude oil, however much something moves outside of the active session, like outside of NYMEX, is probably not as relevant as the information of how much it actually moves during the regular trading hours. So if you're trading crude oil, you can take a session range and then try to time your trades based on that. The average daily range works really well later in the day. So if you're looking for exhaustion of the daily range, you do need to let the instrument do whatever it's going to do intraday, and then you would think about going in. So those are just like a couple of ideas how you can use it. Now I'm going to show you how Blahtech DR actually looks on the chart, and just give you a small rundown of what each and every area means, and what each and every value means, because we've never really done a demo for the DR. So this is going to serve as like a little demo. So let's go back to the studio. I'll meet you guys back there. Okay, so we're back at the studio. So now I can show you what these features are on the Blahtech DR. Now I do have the beta testing version here, so it may not say ADR 2.7. It's probably going to say Blahtech DR if you get it straight from the market. But as you can see, this particular indicator is highly customizable, and it has both session ranges, which is here, and it's got daily ranges values as well. So let's drop that on. Now I did change the font size to be just slightly bigger so that I can focus on showing you what they do, but usually they're much smaller than this. So to begin with, up top, there are the session ranges. So we picked 3 main sessions. So we have Asia, London, and New York. And then next to it is this line called session. Now session, when you're within an active session, it's actually going to show you in real time how much the particular instrument has traversed for that particular session. Right now I'm actually in between sessions. In an active session, it would actually tell me how much the market has moved. Now this particular feature is hard-coded, but you can customize it. So the session schedules you can find in this section. Tokyo starts at midnight, finishes at 7 a.m. GMT. Then there's the London session. I'm only tracking the London session up until the Wall Street Open. Reason being is as soon as the American markets open, they tend to have so much of an impact that it really doesn't matter what happened up until that point. And then finally, the New York session is Wall Street hours, 2:30 p.m. GMT till 9 p.m. GMT. One thing I will say, if you have a server, your MT4 or MT5, with the server that is not GMT, you will have to put a GMT offset here. It's the last parameter. And when you do that, when you're inputting this is actually in seconds. So if you want to move it for like 1 hour, it'll be 3600. But I don't need to do that because I'm actually using LCG. Okay, so up top, session ranges and tracking the active session if you are in an active session. These numbers range 1, 5, 10, and 20. So range 1, it's previous day. Range 5 is average range of the last 5 days movement. Range 10, average movement over the last 10 days. Range 20, average movement over the last 20 days. The next line that I want to draw your attention to. So average daily range tracks how much the instrument has moved over the last 20 days, but with a weighted average towards the last 5 days. So it's a little bit different than just tracking the last 20 days and then dividing it by 20, okay? It's slightly different. So this is why ADR here says 832 and range 20 is 839, okay? Because this one has a weighted average. The next line is current. Current is showing the current day. This current value says that it overshot 160%. This particular day is showing you that today was a massive day, and then maybe tomorrow you can expect a mean reversion trade. But obviously you cannot just depend on, oh, it overshot, let's go the other way. You still have to combine it with a whole bunch of other stuff. Again, ADR is not a holy grail. It's just a statistical piece of data to help you out with your trading decisions. The next 2 lines, high and low, pretty self-explanatory. This is the high of the day, this is the low of the day. One thing that is quite special about Blahtech DR is that you can get some of these values on the chart. For that, I'm gonna have to go down to the lower time frame because this is not going to show up on, if you're looking at intraday, if I look at the levels, they're not going to show up on the daily chart. So let me just go back in time so I can show you how it looks. Let's get a day where it actually moved quite nicely. Okay, here we go. So when the day first begins, you will get these dotted lines. You have red dotted line for potential exhaustion of the ADR to the upside, and you have these green dotted lines for when the market exhausts the daily range to the downside. And if I use the Blahtech backtest and start going forward in time, you will see that by the time that I hit this ADR to the upside, you start to see a bit of a slowdown in the market. There's even a bearish engulfing, then another attempt for them to actually go further, higher up than where the average daily range is, but ultimately failing, and then having a little bit of a 38 pip, 45 pip retrace on the day. So by pressing A, you will get this initial ADR line, ADR high, ADR low, and then when it's exhausted, when the market hits that value, you will see it turn into slightly larger dots, which means that the market has exhausted the range for the day. If you get ADR exhaustion during Asia, that's not a very common thing, which means you should probably look at it as an abnormality rather than a statistical edge. Okay, now as you start pressing the letter A, there will be some additional lines in there. This will be resistance lines and support lines that are calculated based on the daily ranges. So this would be resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance 3. And then same thing, support 1, support 2, support 3. Some people use these in their trading. I don't, I'll be honest. I just use ADR, exhaustion, and price. And with that, hope you found this video useful. Hope it adds some value to your trading. And until next time, safe trading, guys.